What's up, airplane collectors? Welcome to a model airplane review. It's your host Ray. In today's video, I'll be talking about the NG Model 1/400 scale Alaska Airlines Boeing 737-800 in their Star Wars special livery. This video is being made at the request of one of my subscribers. If you see a model in my collection you'd like me to review or talk about, you may suggest that down below in the comment section, and I'll get that started for you as soon as I can. I should mention that I will have to put a brief pause on the service for about a week because I'm undergoing a surgery that will render me unable to narrate these videos. Anywho, in this video, I'll talk about the box, then the model itself, and at the end of the video, I will give my personal opinion about what I think of the model and whether or not I recommend it to other collectors. That being said, let's get this started. So starting off with the box, it's the typical NG Model 737 box in terms of size at 13 centimeters lengthwise and height-wise and about 3.5 centimeters wide. Something I'd like to talk about on the box art is the stars here. These are just little circles that they have sprinkled about, and something that I found rather unusual was that two of these little stars managed to make their way onto the CGI of the plane, which these stars are not present on the real airplane and on the model itself too. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Another thing is that there is supposed to be a sat dome in between the two antennas here on the fuselage, and it seems to be somewhat replicated here, at least the outline of it, and there's one more of the stars that made it through. So that's 3 stars that made it onto the fuselage. Just kidding, 4. I just keep counting them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, hopefully there's no more. However, this sat dome is not present on the model, so that's kind of upsetting to see. Anyway, I'll show you on the box now. So obviously here's the front, bottom, right side, top, left side, and here is the back side. Once you open up the box, you get the model fully assembled, painted, and ready to go, and you get a blue Collector Rewards Program card. Looks pretty nice. So here's the model itself. Before I begin my review, I'm going to give you a quick 360 of the model. Fuselage length is 10 centimeters, wingspan is 9 centimeters, and it's about 3.5 centimeters tall. Relatively small and accurate to 1/400 scale, and this model is decently heavy for its size as well because it is primarily made out of die-cast metal. Starting up at the front of the aircraft, here we can see the front section of the fuselage. No shape is good as per usual with NG 737 family mold. Their no shapes have been fabulous with all of the types, so that's something to just be expected. Printed detail looks pretty nice. Painted detail looks good as well. Notice all of the stars. I'm not 100% sure if the placement of the stars is right or anything. I haven't gone that in-depth in terms of research to delivery, but everything looks pretty good so far. Here we can see one of the spaceships. I'm not a Star Wars person, believe it or not, so I don't really know too much about Star Wars lingo. Anyway, moving down the fuselage, we got more titles and more spacecraft and art. Overall, very nicely done. Even with this model size, printed detail seems pretty highly detailed. Here's the vertical stabilizer. Looks pretty good. Shapes look good. Molded detail looks good. Painting looks good. Printed detail looks good. No complaints up here. Everything I've said about the right side of the left side of the aircraft, can also be applied to the right side of the aircraft. Therefore, I won't provide much commentary, so just take a moment to look at the right side here. It looks almost identical to the left side too, and it looks pretty solid. Moving on to the wings look pretty good at a first glance, however printed detail seems to suffer here. The wings feature a healthy amount of molded, painted, and printed detail, and the molded and painted details look pretty good in the form of the clearly defined control surfaces and the leading edge slats being painted the metallic silver. However, the printed detail suffers. Right here you can see some inconsistencies happened here, and this is not really normal for NG, so this was quite surprising and upsetting to see when I first unboxed it. So yeah. Bottom of the wing does not have any printed detail. It only has painted and molded detail. It looks pretty cool down here as well. No complaints. As for the scimitar tips here, these look pretty good. The edges of the tips kind of extend out a little far, but that's really not a complaint. These are actually very nicely made, and they're pretty sharp as well, so be careful when handling them. So yeah, this is one on the left side. Looks pretty good. Angles look pretty solid as well. They seem to be consistent, and they line up with the real thing. And on the inside of the winglets, we do have some sort of design. I'm not 100% sure what that is. Oh, it looks like it's, okay, don't kill me if I get this wrong. I think that's R2-D2, or one of the little robots from Star Wars. Yeah, this is the inside of the right one. Same deal with the inside of the left one. Okay, so I just realized that's not R2-D2. That's like it's one of the robots from Star Wars. It's the one with the little head and has a ball underneath it. I don't know what that one is called. So again, Star Wars fans, please forgive me. I'm just trying my best here. Moving to the rear section of the aircraft, here we can see the horizontal stabilizers. These look pretty good. There's not that much detail on there, but at the same time, there's not that much detail to put on there, so I won't complain. There's a decent amount of dust on here and hair as well that I forgot to clear out, so sorry about that. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Bottom of the plane looks good. Here we can see that, okay, no, never mind. Here's this section of light gray paint, and it doesn't really align too well with the fuselage. Wow, it's off to the, I believe that's, yeah, it's off to the left side of the aircraft. That's definitely, I don't think that's right at all. That's kind of messed up. It's at the bottom of the plane, so I can't complain too much. Not many people are going to see that, but still it is kind of an issue. APU looks okay. It's just painted a solid gray color, so I won't complain too much on there. Moving on to the engines. Usually NG model doesn't have problems on their 737 engines. However, this one seems to have this engine slightly tilted up. This is definitely a surprise from NG model. I would have expected something like this from Gemini, but NG decided to do this, I guess. It's not by much, but it's still noticeable, so I feel like pointing it out. Aside from that, engines look pretty solid. Here's the fan blades. There you go, the camera wouldn't focus. But yeah, there's the fan blades. There's a very nice amount of printed detail, especially at the bottom of the engines, and the exhaust nozzle looks pretty good, painted in a dark metallic gray. Very nice overall. Just the only issue is, yeah, that engine being bent up, and it seems to be the same case on the right side. So at least it's symmetrical, and it's kind of hard to see at a distance, so I won't complain too much, but that is an issue that is present on this model. In terms of aerial features, this model features 5 antennas spread across the aircraft. There's 2 at the top of the fuselage, like I mentioned earlier, and in between these 2, there should be a Wi-Fi sat dome. However, this isn't present. I think there should be one. I'm not 100% sure. However, this is not present because I believe at the time that this model was released, or slightly before that, when NG was designing it, the airplane in real life did not have the sat dome, so they added it during production, and that kind of screwed with NG. So not 100% sure why it's not there, but that's what I think it is. Anywho, these antennas look pretty good. No placement issues, no alignment issues, nothing wrong with them. Look pretty solid. And right from here, I'm just going to move down to the ones on the bottom. There's 3 large antennas down here, if my camera could catch them all. There we go. All right, so there's one at the front of the aircraft, at the bottom of the fuselage here, and there's 2 back here. These all look pretty good as well, so no complaints on the aerial features. Right from here, I'm going to start talking about the landing gears. Landing gears on this model, solid as per usual with NG's 737s. The wheels roll smoothly. Oh my god, my narration is getting worse. But yeah, the wheels do roll smoothly. The gear is very nicely detailed. The little cavities, or whatever, the gear holes for where the landing gear go when they retract, they're painted a nice gray color. This looks pretty good. Nose gear looks pretty solid. Look at the detail on that. Yeah, the nose gear looks solid with a very nice, clearly defined printed detail on the doors there. Very solid. The wheels here, they roll too. And here's a view at the front of the aircraft. Here we can evaluate wing flex, engine clearance, all that good stuff. Okay, wow, I'm looking at this through the camera and I notice no issues. Holy cow, this is very rare for a 1/400 scale model these days. Cockpit window printing looks pretty symmetrical. I don't see any alignment issues. Wing flex, good as per usual with both the main wings and the horizontal stabilizers. Engine clearance looks pretty good. It might be a little bit high, if anything. Okay, or that might just be my mind messing with me. It might be an optical illusion with the box. Gear balance looks flawless. That's the part that surprised me, because gear balance is very hard to do symmetrically nowadays. And yeah, engines look decent. Geez, okay, it's pretty good over here. Well, that concludes my review, and I'm starting to get suspicious that I missed something because this review is a little bit shorter than my other ones. But yeah, now time for my personal opinion and recommendation. This model is pretty solid. Of course, it's missing that sat dome, and that's kind of a bummer, and the box art is a little questionable. And yeah, the sat dome, that is kind of a pretty major weak point for this model, so I would say it's perfect, but it's not. But with the features it does have, it's still pretty damn good. The only issue that I saw with it was the paint alignment at the bottom of the fuselage and those engines being tilted up, but those are relatively minor imperfections with how severe they are on the model, so I won't complain over them too much. So that being said, I do recommend this model. It's a beautiful livery nonetheless, and Quality control with this batch seemed to have been pretty good. I didn't see any reports of damaged models or anything like that. Of course, every once in a while there will be a damaged model. Oh, and yes, that printed detail on the wing, I forgot about that. That's not usual for NG, but yeah, just proceed with a little bit of caution. This is a very highly detailed model, so that kind of stuff is bound to happen. Well, that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks so much for watching. I really do like this model, so yeah, get it if you want. Get it fast, 'cause by now it's going to be selling out soon. And that's all I've got. Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more aerospace content. Like I said earlier, there will be a pause in content because I usually narrate videos by voice. I have tried text-to-speech once, and that didn't go well. But yeah, I will be undergoing that surgery that won't allow me to narrate videos for about a week, maybe a little longer. And after that, we'll see where things go. Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more aerospace content. Take care of yourselves. See you later.